Hey, it's Scotty. I have planned for a little while now to make a video about this topic, and I was planning on making it pretty organized. And as you can see, I'm moving the camera, which I pretty much never do in the middle of a video, because I just turned on the camera because I just have to, forgive me, I have to rant, I guess, a little bit. What's going on back here? Toby's causing trouble. All right, before I lose everybody, let's talk about the emergency kit. Let's talk about my care guide. Let's talk about common illnesses. And I'm not singling anybody out who may have reached out to me and who watches my videos regularly. I'm grateful for all the support, and I am committed to replying to emails on every day, and I consider it part of what I do, my service. Like, I consider it an act of service, and I'm grateful to be in a position where people can trust my experience and my advice. And I strive to continue to learn, to reach out to my network of people if I don't know the answer, so that I can give the best advice possible. And it's not dogmatic. If I learn new things and I change my mind based on new information, or if the best practices evolve over time, I'm committed to that. So I've gotten a number of messages over the last week, but really over the last many years, I'm constantly getting these messages. But for some reason, there was a flurry of messages this weekend from people who clearly have not read my care guide, have not invested in learning about common illnesses. Many of people who seem to have had their guinea pigs for many months or years or longer, and still don't have even the basics in an emergency kit, like critical care, like gas drops, like syringes. When you think about some of the most common illnesses, bloating is a big one. And I've got messages from several people over the last 24, 36 hours where it seemed like the pigs were bloated and they didn't have gas drops or syringes or emergency food or have any idea about what to do. And I get that when you're in an emergency, you want to reach out to people and just kind of have them tell you step by step what to do. But really, the point of learning about common illnesses is so that you are always on the lookout for them. And instead of freaking out when your piggies are sick, which we're going to do anyways, it's to understand what these things are and how to treat them. And a lot of the people that I've been talking to, I'm getting dozens of messages every day through email from people, and so many of them have never even reached out to a vet before, despite having their pigs for 3 months, 6 months, a year. When I had thought about making this video, I think that it's important to talk about certain topics, and especially the way YouTube is and clickbait, and if I just make a topic saying, build an emergency kit, or learn about common illnesses, nobody will watch it. But if I make a video that says you hate your guinea pigs, or you think you tell people you love your guinea pigs, but you really don't, which may be what I will call this video. Although I don't want to call people out, the people who have been reaching out and messaging me over the last couple days, I know that they love their guinea pigs. I know that they really care about their guinea pigs, but I don't understand how, and a lot of them have said, that they have provided such joy and you know, they've made such a big impact on their family. But if that's true, then why wouldn't you do the basics to care for them in an emergency? Why wouldn't you be prepared with the basics? Now, I know that the majority of people that watch my videos regularly do have emergency kits, and I can tell just based on, I made a bag that lists all the emergency kit items. I made a video recently about the emergency top 20, emergency kit items, and I'm always talking about that. And I know most of us are prepared, but still so many people reach out to me. They're like, I love my guinea pigs, and something's not right with them. And I'm like, we'll feed them some critical care. Oh, I don't have it. Now, luckily, you could, in a pinch, make critical care by grinding up pellets. And I wouldn't mix it with fruit or bananas or anything like that in a situation where your piggies might be bloated, because any extra sugar is going to potentially feed bad bacteria in the gut. That's a very specific thing, but this is where we're at when people aren't prepared, and you have to explain things like this. So bear with me as over the next couple weeks I make potentially very similar videos and content that are framed in different ways. And please let me know in the comments, do you have an idea for a video title about emergency kits, about being prepared, about learning about common illnesses? A title of a video that might actually get people's attention? Because for some reason, if I make a video about a heating pad, which is something that we should have, I get less than 1,000 views on it. If I make a video, with some emotional title, or a video about a rescue or a hoarding situation, I'll get multiple thousands of views in a couple hours. So why is it that we don't want to do the things to protect these animals that we love so much, that we say we love so much, and yet 6 months, a year goes by, and people are still feeding food to their guinea pigs that they shouldn't be feeding, things that are on the guinea pig food list as not recommended to feed them. People are still buying these crappy cages. People are still, don't have the basics. So I don't know what to do. This channel has always been about honesty and being open. And do I have to get tough love? Do I have to start being, this is supposed to be a space where we can celebrate our pigs, where we can raise awareness, where we can talk about how much we love them. But I don't understand how someone can say that they love their guinea pigs, they care about them. There's more ways to love your pigs than just throw veggies at them. And if you're throwing so many veggies at them, and the wrong veggies because you haven't even learned the basics, or if you're talking about how much of a difference they make in your life and in your family's life, and how much you love them, and then you don't even have the basics. You don't have oral syringes, you don't have gas drops, you don't have emergency food, you don't have pediatric electrolyte mix, you don't have a vet. Now, I get it. I live 3 hours away from the emergency vet, and I have spent a long time accumulating things where in most cases I can, there's a motility drug, cisapride, and I was prescribed it for one of my pigs, and I hope that this is legal and okay, but I told my vet, I was like, this is one of these medicines where when you need it right away, and waiting 3 hours, 5 hours a day, 3 days to go to the vet to be prescribed a motility drug when a pig is in the middle of GI stasis, they're not going to make it. And so having extra on hand and knowing when to give it can save a life. And so I've, and yes, I realize I volunteer, I work at a guinea pig rescue. So I've learned about these common illnesses, but that's why I've tried to share what I've learned with you through my care guide, and a lot of this stuff is over the counter, and some of it is stuff that you can be prescribed, and legal or not, if you have extra medication because you haven't finished it and you save it as part of your emergency kit, or you ask your vet, say, is this appropriate that there are certain medicines like a motility drug, like extra pain medicine that you can keep on hand? Now, I've been learning about acetaminophen children's Tylenol for pain for guinea pigs, which is something over the counter. And you can talk with your vet and say, is this appropriate? What are the doses? From what I understand, 20 milligrams of acetaminophen per kilogram, which for an average guinea pig with, ended up being about, 0.4, 0.5. And according to other vets I've spoke with, you can give much more without worrying. But I would always do less. The least, amount that is going to be an effective dose, I think, is the safe way to go. And it's important to talk with your vet about it. But you say, how can I be prepared, assuming that I won't be able to get to a vet the same day? And if I really need to go to a 24-hour vet, for me, living 3 hours away in a rural area, my regular vet's 2 hours away, 2.5 hours away, 3 hours in traffic. So being prepared is even more important. I don't get it. Let's talk about it. I really want to know, how can I present these videos? Maybe I'll lose some subscribers and I'm fine with that. It doesn't make sense that, oh, you're calling me out. I'm not calling anyone out specifically, but if you're upset, if this is hitting home, I tell people, when on adoption day, all right, now you need to start thinking about an emergency kit. You don't have to buy it all at once, and hopefully, when people adopt their piggies, they take them home. They're not going to be sick right away. We do health checks so that we're not adopting out sick piggies. We make sure that they are feeling fine, that they sound good, that there's no obvious signs of illness. But things can change. Go to the doctor, you're feeling fine. A week later, you're sick. That happens all the time. They depend on us. So it's just, and for all of us that are always prepared, doesn't hurt. Once every couple weeks, once a month, go through. What are you low on? There was a while there where you couldn't get critical care. You could still get Sherwood, but you couldn't get critical care. Now you can get it again. So get it. Down in the description and on my free care guide on my website, there are links to many of these common things. Those are affiliate links. They do help. I don't care. A lot of this stuff you can order, but you don't have to order. You could go to Walmart, you could go to CVS, you could go to any drugstore, pharmacy, whatever, and get baby gas drops, get pediatric electrolyte mix. Some of these things, like terramycin ointment or any kind of ophthalmic eye ointment, especially if you live in a state like California where you can't get it over the counter anymore, you got to plan ahead. So when you wake up in the morning and your piggy's eye has gone cloudy and they're squinting, or their eye is so injured that it's popping out of their head and there's a piece of hay sticking out, you've got the terramycin or whatever ophthalmic ointment. You've got some kind of eye flush or saline to flush it out. That's going to be the difference between whether or not they keep their eye or lose it. We say we love our piggies, but if you don't even have the basics, do you really even love them? There's two kinds of love, or there's many kinds of love. But there's a kind of love where you say, oh, I love you, and you don't do anything. I was about to swear. You don't do anything to back that love up with action and support. And then there's a kind of love where it's like, you don't just say you will do anything, but you actually do. These guys don't know that I got terramycin, that I've got cisapride, that I've got pediatric electrolyte mix, that I have all of these things just in case. But when they need it, they'll get it. I'm showing my love to them, not just by throwing lettuce and carrots at them, but by being prepared to save their life. And it's not always possible. You know, the outcome for illness is not always great. I've talked to people at the rescue that have come in, and I tell them about common illnesses, and they're like, oh, they like get squeamish. It's like, look, that is immature. I've had people that are like, I'm not gonna do a bore cleaning on my guinea pig. I'm not gonna pop out their penis and look and see if it's got crud around it that is calcifying and solidifying to the point where they're uncomfortable and can't even pee without pain. You shouldn't have animals. Life is gross. Life is uncomfortable. Life can be scary. That's part of it. You do these things because you love them. I'm so mad. I'm so disappointed in sometimes people that have been corresponding with me for years. And then they ask me basic questions. Basic. Not just stuff that you can find, but stuff that you should just know. All right. There will be more of these to come. So if you don't like this, you could skip it, or you can unsubscribe now. But I'd really love to know in the comments, what can I do? What's a title of a video that people aren't just going to skip over? Because the person who hasn't learned about common illnesses, who doesn't have an emergency kit, who hasn't bought critical care or any of the basics, they're not going to watch this video, especially if it's something that is obvious like that. What can I do to get these people to take this seriously? These people who are pretending to love their animals and doing absolutely nothing to show and to support that. All right, I don't know. I don't feel any better after ranting. I feel even more upset. But together, hopefully, we can figure out how to turn this around. I'm motivated to get everybody to learn about common illnesses. That's how your piggies are going to live a long and healthy life. All right. I'll see you in the comments.